So there it is.
Yes, as you have probably realised by now, I am reviewing Level, Eric Dubays' sci-fi horror flick. Roll intro. Hello, dearest viewer. Welcome to my little corner of the YouTubes. Yes, if you like what I do, please consider subscribing. Please like, share, and comment. And don't forget to click bell notifications while you are at it. Thank you very much for joining me. Yes, today I am looking at Eric Dubays' sci-fi horror flick. You try saying that when you just got up. Sci-fi horror flick, Level, because Eric Dubay, if you do or do not know, is a yoga instructor who can bend his legs in all sorts of weird positions, and he's also a fake flat earther. So he's done a documentary. I hate air quotes. He's done a documentary, and he has got various people from different walks of life. For instance, urine drinkers, tattoo artists, and imitation mathematicians. So let's crack on with it, shall we? Without further ado, take it away, Eric. The floor is all yours.
The Earth from outer space. Do you believe this is a real, live recording?
Probably, but then I'm not a qualified yoga instructor, so please, tell me different.
Do you believe? How about now? Does this make it more believable?
No, because it's just the same image with a couple of logos on it. But then, I'm not a qualified yoga instructor, so please, Eric, tell me something different.
Ask yourself,
is this real? Do you believe? Is this real?
Let's try this another way.
Breaking news. NASA finally did it. They finally did it. They're finally live streaming the Earth spinning from outer space. The world is celebrating. This one will go down in
history.
Convinced? Well, if you didn't fall for that, then why would you fall for this? Maybe you just never
Paid attention.
When you do pay attention, you start to notice things.
Yeah, thanks for the green arrow there pointing out Earth curve. And the one on the right, as you look at it, thanks for showing a rocket actually going into space. Because as it goes higher and higher and higher, obviously the atmosphere gets thinner, and the fuel coming out the back, or the bottom of the rocket, whichever way you want to look at it, starts to spread out as the air gets thinner. Eric, you're debunking yourself.
Are you paying attention?
Yeah, Odd TV there. He's a rapper. He's also a flat earther, but I don't know if he's a fake flat earther because I've not looked at his channel yet, and I'm going to do it very, very soon, or I might do it in a few weeks. It doesn't matter. Word. Yes, Dave. What's he called? Dave.
Murphy.
That's the chap. Yes, good old urine drinking ex-breatharianist, Dave Murphy. If you don't know what a breatharianist is, breatharianism. Breatharianism is a practice where idiots or simple-minded morons like Dave believe that you can get all the nutrients your body needs just by eating fresh air. I've tried breatharianism and I managed it for 5 whole seconds. And I ended up burping, I ended up hiccuping, and I ended up hungry. And I made up for that by making myself a massive mixed grill. And it was delicious. Tanya Stewart, never heard of her. I've heard of Tanya Roberts though, who was in Living... No, it wasn't. It was A View to a Kill. And very nice she looked as well. Santos, who I've never heard of, but he appears to have been born, unfortunately born, with a Brillo pad attached to the back of his head. Johnny Grandpa, I've never heard of him either. This isn't going well at all here. Whoa, Eddie Bravo, you're pulling out all the big guns here. I've never heard of them. And of course we've got Eric Dubays. Like I said before, yoga instructor, fake flat earther. I don't think that he believes a word he's saying, and we're going to prove this in probably this episode, well, probably the next episode, and in future episodes as well. Oh God, I can feel my brain losing cells as I speak. Oh, you can't grow them back either, can you? Right, I'm going to make this quick.
Did you know that starting at the end of 2015 through 2017, Flat Earth was one of the top search terms in the USA, let alone the world?
So you have to go back a few years to, to point out that something was popular at one particular time. Flat Earth isn't trending right now though, is it? Just done a quick search. 2021, the top 100 items searched for on Google. This not only includes the USA, it also includes the globe, and it's not even in the top 100. Hentai is more popular than that. Coronavirus is more popular. Serie A, the Italian Football League, is more popular. Hell, even I'm more popular than that.
While most of you were falling for the political charades, the rest of us were trying to discover the true nature about our world.
No, you weren't at all. From my experience and looking at your videos, all you were going is, well, that's fake, you're wrong, you're dumb. All you've done is sit there in a cross-legged bloody lotus position going, saying everything's wrong. Scientists are wrong, NASA's wrong, NASA lies, NASA does this, NASA does that. You've got a hate boner for NASA from what I've seen from your videos. You always claim that NASA lies. But in one of the NASA documents it says the Earth is flat and stationary. And NASA lying about that too. Also, NASA says it's Photoshop because it has to be. So are they lying about that as well? What are they telling the truth about and what are they lying about? Come on, Eric. I need your guidance, oh great one.
We're told that the sun is a massive ball of burning gas 93 million miles away.
Ah, yes, here he is, Dave.
Murphy.
That's him.
But if that were true, then all the light that arrives here would be parallel because it's so far away.
But it is parallel. You've just shown a perfect diagram there of how the sun's rays hit the Earth. I'm not quite sure what you're getting at.
And it has to be parallel because one of the most often cited supposed globe proofs is Eratosthenes' experiment between Alexandria and Syene, by which he calculated the size of the Earth.
Well, you're half right, I suppose. No, he calculated the circumference of the Earth. He went and he did his experiment with no preconceived ideas at all. He just wanted to measure something. So he measured it, obviously, and did his calculations. And from his calculations, we know that the Earth is a sphere. Are you trying to tell me you know better than him?
For that calculation to be accurate, the light must come down parallel. The only problem is that that's not what we see.
You're going to talk about crepuscular sun rays now. Crepuscular rays now, aren't you? Oh dear. Eratosthenes did his... we can be absolutely positive about this. Eratosthenes did his experiment and his measurements on a sunny day with no clouds.
If you go out on a sunny day with broken cloud, what you'll see is that light comes down at angles, diverging angles. And that means that we can follow those light rays back to the source and triangulate the sun's height above the Earth, proving that the sun isn't millions of miles away.
Yes, crepuscular rays happen when like mountain peaks or clouds partially hide the sun, so they appear to scatter, and scattered by dust and haze and what have you. And the very last image was not crepuscular rays at all, it was a lens flare. You dishonest piece of shit. But Dave, my old piss drinking buddy, crepuscular rays are parallel. And I can guarantee, and in fact I know this for a fact, not one single flat earther has even attempted to measure the distance to the sun. Not a single one, using crepuscular rays. Not a single one. Why haven't you done it, Dave? Why don't you show us, oh great one? Educate us, please. I'll tell you why. Because you stand on some train tracks. You try and triangulate the distance to the start of those train tracks, because we all know train tracks are parallel. Crepuscular rays appear to converge, but we all know that they're parallel, and they are only scattered by clouds, mountain peaks, dust, haze, and what have you. So Dave, measure the distance to the sun, you arsehead.
But we can also perform physical experiments that prove that these crepuscular rays, as they're called, can only be recreated with a light source that is small and close.
In the top two things where you've recreated something, it's not very clear, but I can't see any crepuscular rays there at all.
It doesn't take a genius to understand that the further the light source goes up, the more the sun rays would spread out and become parallel.
But they are parallel. That's exactly what science tells us, you stupid yogin moron.
The reason you'd even think that the sun...
If the Earth was flat, wouldn't it be sunny all the time? I mean, have they ever even thought about it?
Well, if you'd let me finish...
That guy has a point. That guy is clever. Be that guy.
The reason you'd even think the sun would be visible from anywhere on Earth is because of the images they have shown you.
Oh, the mythical they. I'm wondering who they are. Please enlighten me again, oh great one, from your lotus position in your cave.
No one promoting this stands for truth. You can keep believing in your fantasy gas ball 93 million miles away.
You can keep believing in your fantasy gas ball.
While we keep experimenting to try and figure out what the sun actually is, and how close it could be. With a local hotspot, it should be easy to comprehend that the sun is small and close to you.
But you say that pictures from space or images from space are all fake, so why are you using a picture from virtually space as evidence for a flat Earth? That hotspot there isn't a hotspot there. It looks like a reflection of the sun from me, or it may be an example of thermal inversion. Who knows? Have you tested it yourself, Eric? No, you haven't.
To put that in perspective, imagine a table 2 meters wide in a completely dark room, and you're holding a small but very bright light bulb, 3.4 millimeters across, and you were holding it about 31 centimeters above the table. What you'd see is a circular pool of light directly on the table, beneath the light bulb. But on the other side of the table, it would be in darkness.
So are you saying now that the sun is a spotlight? Because that's not what we see on this planet here. We don't see a circular pool of light. We don't see that. We see a Terminator line splitting the sphere in half, really, down one side, not on the other. That's what we see. That's what we observe, Dave. Open your eyes and wake up.
Now, it seems to our mind that if you were on the other side of the table, you would see the light because it's, above the table. But that's not true, because on that part of the table, it's in darkness, meaning that the light isn't physically reaching that part of the tabletop.
Amazing self-debunk there from our piss-drinking breatharianist. Jesus. Oh dear, oh dear. You've just said that we won't be able to see the light from our perspective, our darkness. But you've just shown the light in the sky, the torch, shining a beam of light onto the table. We're in darkness. We can see that spotlight there. And we can see the source of the light as well. But that's not what we experience in real life whatsoever. If we're in darkness, then the curvature of the earth is hiding the sun, which is, a source of light. If there's no moon here, right, so we have no source of light, so we're in darkness. So the sun is over there, it's obscured by the curvature of the earth, so we're in darkness and we can't see the sun, and that is why we're in darkness. Dave. You've just done, like I said, an amazing self-debunk. I debunked it as well, so that's 2 times. So I think what they call in baseball, I think that's what it is, a slam dunk.
Your senses are correct.
We're also told that the sun sets because as the earth rotates us away from the sun, it's actually obscured by the physical curvature of the earth.
I've just said that, you bloody copycat.
That's not what we see.
What we see is a local sun that is taking its local light with it. What happened to the horizon glowing across half of the world? Most sunsets are already fading through pollution, dander, chemtrails, and fog. Plus, refraction will always make the sun seem like it's going down, as well as your perspective.
It would appear to sink down in your field of view. That's perspective. The further away you get from it, the lower it will appear.
Well, of course, objects will appear to get lower the further you move away from them, because we call it Earth curve, don't we? If we watch a sunset and film a sunset through a solar filter, you will see that the sun doesn't change in angular size. That's because it is disappearing below Earth curve. The Earth is rotating and the sun is going down. It's simple, really. You can do this for yourself, Dave. Please do this for yourself. Photograph a sunset, film a sunset through a solar filter, and you will see the Earth doesn't change in angular size. What a moron.
It doesn't physically change its height, it just appears that way to your eyes, until eventually it will disappear behind the horizon formed by your eye's vanishing point.
You're going to have to explain this one to me, Dave. How do you have a horizon on a flat Earth? If they go, it goes like that, you're looking through, and it goes like that, and they meet, and they meet, and they meet. In the very distance, they will meet. So, how on earth do you get I'm confuddled.
Your eye has an angular resolution of 0.2 degrees.
No, the maximum angular resolution of the human eye is 28 arc seconds, or 0.47 arc minutes, which gives us an angular resolution of 0.008 degrees. Yes.
And anything at that height will disappear beyond the limit of your sight. Many times we can see time-lapse footage of the sun that shows it getting smaller as it moves away from us.
CGI.
Now, that's not always the case, since the sun is travelling around the North Pole. The closer you are to the north, the less you'll see the size change. But from locations beyond the equator, you'll absolutely see the sun's size change.
No, we won't. How many more times? Dave! Stop drinking fresh air. Stop drinking your own urine. Stop it, stop it, stop it. It's messing with your mind, man. Tell you what, you get a few flat earthers together, okay, dotted around the world, if you've got any friends, of course, and film it through a solar filter, and let's see the results. You won't know, will you? And we know why you won't.
And that could never ever happen if the sun was 93 million miles away. You wouldn't see the sun change at all.
Our eyes cannot see farther than what they were designed to see, but that is no reason to keep them closed.
There's also an effect that occurs under certain conditions called atmospheric lensing, where the sheer amount of atmosphere, as well as the rain between you and the sun, acts like a lens and a prism, magnifying it greatly, which leads to another observational proof that the sun setting is an optical effect. At such times, when the sun is setting over the sea, and it seems as though it's half hidden by the horizon, then you can zoom in with a high-powered zoom camera and see that it's actually still above the horizon. It's just an optical illusion.
I agree, the sun setting is an optical illusion because you're not actually seeing the physical sun setting, you're just seeing a reflection of it. But here's a quick thing for you, Dave. You go down to a beach and you lie down on your stomach and you see the sun set. As soon as that last flicker of light disappears, jump up and you will see the sun set again slightly. And keep doing that. It'll take some practice. It'll probably keep you fit as well, actually, and it'll stop you eating fresh air and drinking your own piss. But, you know, give it a go, or get a drone and do the same with the drone. But you won't though, will you, Dave? And we know why you won't.
Pay attention to the sun rays here.
Those don't look like sun rays to me. It looks like light reflecting off a glass, or perhaps a lens. Eric, you're not being very honest.
This alone proves our local sun, and so do these shadows.
No. They don't prove anything. They are evidence of nothing. They are the only evidence that it is, really, is that we have a sun, and that's all. I'm begging you now. If you're so convinced that the sun is small and local, it should be very, very easy to measure the distance to it, shouldn't it? So measure the distance. That's all. Should be easy, shouldn't it? Come on, just measure the distance. You and your fellow fake flat earthers and your conspiracy whack jobs and your piss drinking half-witted minions, measure the distance to the sun. That's it. I've had enough of Eric and Dave.
Murphy.
For me, they can go and jump off right off the edge of the flat earth. So that's it. Dave Murphy. All done, dusted, debunked. Every single one of his arguments gone without a trace. Boosh. I think they call that in basketball a home run. Anyway, if you like what I do, please consider like, sharing and subscribing. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Toodle pip.